Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khush Amdeed. Ji aya nu. Goeiemorgen.
Bakhair Agale, Ni Hao, Chune Shumme, Washvale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifal, Hale Shuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very amazing, the very stunning Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you today?
I am absolutely great. How are you?
I'm absolutely perfect too as well. I think that I have slept enough and I think that my throat's doing well too as well. And the day when I feel that there's no problem within my human body, I think I feel great too as well.
Which
And I've
is,
got
you're so lucky because right now I feel like because of all the lights, I'm going to sneeze any moment and keep sneezing.
yeah, it's all right, but just make sure that you keep your hand right in front of your nose and mouth too as well
Yeah,
because I don't
of
want the
course.
after effects or the aftershocks.
Don't worry.
Okay, but other than that, we want everybody out there to be happy, to feel
Yes.
motivated. It's time to rise and shine, wake and bake, get up, do something new in life.
Yeah.
And you can only have this vibe or feeling if you have contentment within your own self and if you want to
True.
achieve something in life, not by envying somebody,
Hmm.
but this is you. So, I mean, it's hard to explain this phenomena itself. I mean, for example, so the example can be Shiza,
Okay.
that she got done with her bachelor's, she wanted to work, she started working, and then she got her admission in her master's because she wanted to keep on moving and she never wanted anybody to actually ask about what she studied if she becomes a journalist. I mean, right now, I
Right.
think we're more about entertainment and lesser about infotainment.
Yeah.
So, this is what keeps you going, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the kind of energy you need. There'll be lows, there'll be highs,
Yes.
and all it matters is that you keep on moving.
Well, thank you for saying that, and thank you for taking me as an example. That's very humble of you. But there's one more thing that I need to say, and I think we always say it on many of our shows, but need to reiterate
Yeah.
that you need. I know you guys, you are kind to other people, which is a great thing. Kindness is a virtue, but be kind to other people without the expectation of, of
Them
a
being kind.
reward,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, and and them being kind to you as well. So this is a totally different and totally divine feeling when you know that the other person cannot give you anything in return, but you still be kind to them. It's a
Yeah.
totally different feeling. It's beautiful, you
Yeah.
see.
So ladies and gentlemen, today the topic we picked up on, I think this is for the very first time that we are going to talk about this topic in detail. Not that we haven't touched upon it.
Yeah.
We've touched upon it, but then the entire team sat down and we were thinking that, what new can we actually share with people. So we came up with this idea that why not to discuss how an individual can actually make this society a better place.
Right.
I mean, we most of the time we talk about what government needs to do, what the private institutions need to do, and how the public and private partnership needs to be. But
Right.
as a matter of fact, we've never ever emphasized upon what our actions need to be in order to make a society a, a better one and the
That's
entire
exactly.
country a better place to live too as well. So first up, I think I'm going to ask Shiza. Shiza, how do you think any individual can play their role?
So, the very important thing that we
The
always
waving
hear.
part?
Of course not. Okay, anyway, so it's always said that, practice what you preach.
Yeah.
So, all of us become lecturers when it comes to, telling other people what you need to do to make the society a better place. But I think it starts at home, at individual level, of course. And the smallest thing that we can do, we were just discussing a while ago as well, you can smile to everyone you see. It makes their day
Not to
great.
everyone,
Of,
people take
more
other
or less,
meanings too.
even in the
Oh,
morning, that's
she's looking at me and she's smiling. I should better go and talk to her.
yeah,
But
not
not
in
that
that way.
smile,
Yeah.
okay? Not the grinny smile.
Yeah, but just, a small gesture that you being kind towards them and that you like their presence around you, probably. I hope, you understand what I mean. But what do you think? What is
Yeah.
that small
Okay.
role?
Okay. Thank you very much for asking me. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got a very simple concept. I
Okay.
mean, yesterday it was 12th of Rabiul Awwal as well. It was the birthday of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's rahmatul lil alameen. So he's for everyone
Yeah.
out there too as well. And I think he's set so many examples in terms of making a society a better place with the help of sacrifice, patience,
Yeah.
tolerance, empathy towards other
Absolutely.
people, and I think these are the core values every individual needs to have.
Absolutely.
Now when it comes down to me, there's this one formula I have, and that is, so I think that it's a bit selfish, but it works. Okay,
Okay.
so this is how it works. So my father actually gave me this teaching where he said that whatever you want in life, start sharing it with people, and it will come to you.
Absolutely
Now
right.
imagine, may it be money, may it be food, may it be patience, may it be empathy, may it be tolerance. if you will show all of these things, or if you will share all of these things with other people, they will come back to you. So just, and you need to have
It's
your
like
faith.
give and take.
Yeah, no, it's not like give and take. It's like you give to other people with the expectation of Allah giving you back,
Yeah,
not
of
those
course,
people
yeah.
giving you back.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of belief I have my life set on, and I think that Alhamdulillah it works too as well. And I was saying that it was selfish, that at least I'm not expecting it back from the same person. I'm
Right.
expecting it from the
From
Almighty, who
exactly.
is actually going to deliver to everybody who's out there. May it be a Hindu, may it be a Christian, may it be anybody. So it's Allah Almighty and it's you. So please make sure that you build a connection. But other
Absolutely.
than that, doing better in society can be as small as passing a smile, as she said, or having the largest ever ambulance network in the entire world. Abdul
Imagine.
Sattar Idi Sahab, I think he's a must mention. Chipa Sahab. Then there's Shaukat Khanam. Then there's Namal University, and then there's so many other organizations who are actually educating the underprivileged children too as well, which means that we're making society a better place to live. And for that
Absolutely.
particular reason, we
Yeah.
have been joined by some very apt guests who are going to talk about this. How can we do that? Random acts of kindness. Planting a tree, planting a memory, corporate social responsibility. So we have these different names,
Yeah.
but by the end of the day, the action dictates that all of these actions are the same because they make society a better place.
Well, I really hope now we stop with the introduction because it's time to move on to the guests. Otherwise, I'm just going to sneeze in the camera. So,
Okay, so on my right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined with somebody who's an educationist. He's running a non-profit organization. What is the organization all about? We'll definitely ask her, but she's none other than Miss Amina Umair. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Assalamualaikum, good morning. Thank you for having me here. I'm Amna. I have a school for the underprivileged kids in Lahore.
Wow.
okay.
It was my inspirations idea. I had a very good family friend, she Asma Wakar. She started it with me. She asked me to do something for the society, and what I suggested her was to why not give an education to the underprivileged kids.
Exactly.
So what we started with was we had 10-15 kids at our home. We started teaching them, and then we had a proper school set up for them. Now I have 80 kids over
Oh,
there,
wow.
and not that much, obviously, because it's our own little
No, but
initiative.
80 is a lot. man.
And I am trying to provide them education that is not contemporary like
Okay.
ABC and other things. We are doing more it with the hands-on activities. We
Thank
have
God you didn't say but.
sorry. Yeah, exactly. So what happened is teaching these kids is a little difficult because they haven't been to school and they are overage for the Montessori and pre-nursery. So we don't want to give them an idea that this is like for the very first time they're getting into the schools. So what we do is we try to first educate them that why is education important.
Yeah.
Right.
And because their parents have not been educated, they don't know basics about the education. So all we wanted was to give them education, at least make them something, for in the society.
Very nice. We will definitely come back to that. But alongside Miss Amna Umair, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by somebody who's been a regular on the show too as well. He's a religious scholar himself. He's an educationist, and he's the director at Medina Islamic School as well, which is once again a school for the underprivileged children and provides free education. He's none other than Mr. Imran Sandhu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you back on the show too as well. But alongside Mr. Imran, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by Nathwan too as well, as it's the month of Rabiul Awwal, and it's always good to hear some amazing naats, and it makes you feel mesmerized. It makes you remember your Prophet in a way which you generically cannot. And he's none other than Mr. Azim Shahzad Chishti Sahab. Assalamu alaikum sir. कैसे हैं आप? ठीक हैं? First class है, ton tight.
जी अल्लाह का
Very
शुक्र
nice.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started now. So Imran Sandhu Sahab, I'm going to move on to you. I think first things first, what we need to discuss is Siratul Nabi once again, where we're talking about an individual's role to bring about a positive change in the society. Go ahead.
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The example of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is of a person who has transformed the society from a very basic stage, rather even below the basic stage where there were crimes, there were so many bad things going on, from the level of faith to the level of the society. and then he transformed the society from that place to a place that was the most well-educated society in the world. You know, world after being so much advanced, even modernized, that kind of a brotherhood we still need to see in this modern world.
Yeah.
The way he transformed the society, and he did that society through compassion, through mercy, and that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has named his as Rahmatul lil Alameen. He is the mercy to mankind. So this trait of compassion in the personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is what we need to understand. You know, when he did hijrah from Medina to Makkah, he did three main things. You know, you can very well imagine all the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet, radiyallahu anhum, when they, migrated from Makkah to Medina, they had left all their even home utensils with them.
Material belongings.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, they, and their belongings in Makkah, they had all their trade was left behind, and they were just as poor as one could be.
Okay.
And then when they came to Medina, Prophet did a very, he made a very out of the box solution for them.
Okay.
He made the Ansar, who were the helpers,
Yeah.
and the Muhajirin, who were the migrators. He created a brotherhood amongst them.
Yeah.
And this kind of a brotherhood, it gave them such an economic boost. People from Makkah, they were very good traders.
Yeah.
And here they were very good farmers. So they joined their capital, they gave them their capital, they even gave them their lands, and they put these two people in a way that, their I would say that their integrity did not hurt.
Yeah.
And then he did a second thing. It created a very good economic, activity inside of the Medina. And then he did another thing. There was another group of the companions of Prophet who was, inducted on Sufa. Sufa, it was the first educational institute for the Muslims.
Okay.
So, there were.
Thank you for adding to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't know
this
that.
was the first educational institute, and Sahaba, there were almost 80 or 90 Sahaba that got enrolled in that. And what they used to do, but that was not, of course, enough for them. They used to go, to the jungle, cut some, wood, and sell it off to bear their expenses. But that was definitely not enough. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to gather Sahaba from Ansar and tell them that go and help them. So they would come and give lots of donations to them, and this activity started. So this kind of an activity started, and the good thing was those people that were enrolled on Sufa,
Yeah.
there are they became governors when Islam spread out. They became governors, they became big time traders, they became generals, and I'm going to talk about it later on, how this transformed the society. Almost all of those Sahaba, they became the scholars of Islam.
Yeah.
They became narrators of ahadith. They became narrators of memorizers of Quran, huffazul Quran. And you can very well see this thing has actually enriched our culture.
Exactly, and which is why that I'm going to mention I'm going to mention about Fatah Makkah as well. When it took place, for people who actually surrendered were free to live
Yeah.
within Makkah as well. Now I'm going to bring it down to 2018, where we've definitely moved on to nuclear house systems as well, where it's not any more joint family systems, but whoever's left with the joint family system are not I mean, people are not living in peace.
Yeah.
You know, for example, one chachi is fighting with another one, you know, or one papa is fighting with the chachi. So imagine that we've got an exemplary figure who's actually leading us the way to live, but we're still unable to follow the teachings. Now, what should we do about it?
Oh, that's a very
Dilemma.
that's a very good question that you have posed upon me.
Thank you, I'm known for this.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, you are known for that. So, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not only actually made, these two, as I said, Ansar and Muhajirin, they were not even relatives, but he also has given us orders to, to live in a society with our blood relatives. We are not allowed to get angry with each other, cut ties with each other for more than 3 days.
Yeah.
So, this level of brotherhood, this level of, mercifulness, we in Arabic we call it sila rahmi. And, Allah subhanahu, Prophet taught us, there's a hadith that says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, his name is mercy, Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman. And he said that I have named the relationship between the blood relationship as Rahim. So, and whosoever cut ties with the blood relationship, he cut ties with me actually. So, this kind of this kind of a teaching that was actually taught by our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, created an adhesive force amongst the society.
Right.
It made the society come together. So there's only one way we can come together.
And that is?
That is the application of the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam into our lives at personal level.
Right, thank you for saying that, but I have to move on to Amna over here. Amna, when you're grown up and when you're looking to engage in work, you're obviously naturally always looking for something that pays off because you need to run your life and everything. So, but then you decided to work for something that is a non-profit organization, your own initiative in case.
Yes.
So what inspired you to, drive yourself in such a direction?
Actually, after my graduation, just like he said in the beginning, I tried to find a job.
Right.
Even I did it for some time, but there was something I always wanted to do on my own.
Okay.
It was in education sector. I was already working with that, so I thought, why not my own? So there were obviously lack of resources I wanted to put in for building up a school, and then I started with my own home, and then I got married. I had kid. So these were little strains that I had to follow because of our society culture and everything. But then I didn't give up. I just keep pushing me to do something for the kids and for the underprivileged. And I always wanted to I used to see the kids playing on the roads around my own home. So what I did was I started getting them from the streets. I asked them to come to my home and I'll teach you. So I was.
So was it hard to convince them?
Obviously, it was not to the kids but to their parents, because obviously they were working at the shops. They were the child laborers, and they were getting in some amount for their parents to the
income,
home.
right.
Yes. So it was like pretty much hard for me to convince them to send them to my home, and I'll teach them and so on and so forth. But then again, what they also wanted was a proper school. They also wanted was a proper school. So I took a building on rent and I started with that.
Wow.
So
All on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So with the help of my another partner, she's Miss Asma Bakar, I mentioned
yes.
before.
Your
So she,
inspiration.
my inspiration too, because she pushed me to it. She said, I'll help you, just go with it. So then we tried get the kids, because the first step was really difficult. Kids are not willing to come because they are not into the schools. They think that this is some sort of bars, because we have the government schools here, I'm sorry to say, but they push them to study. So what we did, I painted the school with my friends, and we went to the kids. We get them some goodie bags for them. They had some different items for eating and everything, and we, it was like
So some
sort
tasty
of
incentives.
incentive motivation for them to come to the school. And we had to do this for like almost 2 to 3 months. We had to give them little goodies every day, and I had to collect it from my friend, my family, little
Right.
toys and everything. So they'll keep coming, because they have this issue. They lose their interest after a while.
Exactly, yeah, go on, go on.
so it was a little difficult, but all that matter is just a push. An individual can do this. We should not wait for the very right time and very right things to happen.
Right.
Just start
Yeah.
doing it.
Which is why
Yeah.
that, I'll take advantage of the opportunity and I'll actually let people know what Pakistanis are doing. For example, if we go back in time and if people remember that Shahzad Roy did an entire campaign of getting the children into the school. And he came up with the formula that every children who's actually going to come to school is actually going to get 100 rupees so that they can go back home if they weren't working, so their parents can actually eat too as well. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Sahara Trust, Mr. Ibrarullah. Other than Sahara Trust, I met these amazing group of children, and they are graduates from LUMS too as well.
Okay.
And they came up with they've labeled it Risk. Now what they do is that they actually are in collaboration with each and every restaurant within Lahore and Islamabad, and whatever food is wasted, they collect it, they freeze it,
Wow.
and then they make sure that it reaches to people who cannot actually afford to have food
That's
as well.
brilliant. We
So I
always
think
waste
we
food.
need to keep on telling about all of those people who are coming up with these initiatives too. But ladies and gentlemen, obviously it's about time that we actually move to our Naat Khawa Sahab and listen to a Naat. But then there's one more thing which comes to my head, and that is that a lot of people are now working for education, a lot of people are working for health facilities, and these are the only two, I think, sectors where people are putting in more focus. Now, I think that we need to branch out and we need to talk about other issues which are probably prevalent within the society and how we can tackle them by our individual effort, because this is what the show is all about as well. So, Chishi Saab, what are you going to share with us today? क्या सुनाएंगे आज आप हमें?
मैं पीर सैयद नसीरुद्दीन नसीर शाह साहब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह का
Sure,
लिखा हुआ कलाम। मेरी जिंदगी का तुझसे ये निज़ाम चल रहा है, मेरी जिंदगी का तुझसे ये निज़ाम चल रहा है, तेरा आस्तां सलामत, मेरा काम चल रहा है, तेरा आस्तां सलामत। नहीं अर्शो फर्श पर ही तेरी अज़मतों के चर्चे, नहीं अर्शो फर्श पर ही तेरी अज़मतों के चर्चे, तहे खाक भी lahad में तेरा नाम चल रहा है, तहे खाक भी lahad में तेरा नाम चल रहा है, मेरी जिंदगी का तुझसे। और वो तेरी अता के तेवर वो हजूम में गिरदे कौसर, वो तेरी अता के तेवर हजूम में गिरदे कौसर कहीं शोर में कशां है कहीं जाम चल रहा है कहीं शोर में कशां है कहीं जाम चल रहा है मेरी जिंदगी का तुझसे कड़ी धूप के सफर में नहीं कुछ नसीर को गम।
Thank you.
The ancient city of Taxila is the heart of stonework in Pakistan. This art, which has been preserved and practiced for centuries, can be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Well This Morning with Shazan Shazad today. And for all those who just got tuned in, we are talking about how we can bring about changes, good changes in a society on individual level.
Yeah, and I think I've got something very interesting to share too as well. For example, whenever I open the show, so the first name I'm going to take is Shiza. But you know, whenever she welcomes you back from the break, the first name she takes is Shiza too. So if you apply this in your life, ladies and gentlemen, I think people won't be very happy. So you know, just to bring about a smaller change, you know, talk about somebody else first and then talk about your own self.
So you've been joined by Shazad and Shazan Well This Morning today.
Yeah, and you know, see, this is the beauty of working with some amazing teammates too as well, that you know they realize it all of a sudden. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we have got another exemplary lady over here in the studio. Obviously, she's here to discuss about something else, but there's this thing which we wanted to share. So I think a month ago that we went to a park in I-8,
Yes.
and it's named as Kachnar Park as well. So the entire community of I-8, what they did was that they didn't rely on the government to maintain the park, and they did it themselves, planting trees, making footpaths, arranging a motorcycle to water all the trees too as well. And now people probably from far-flung sectors of Islamabad come to actually have a walk around. See, this is a different idea of making a society a better place for your own self too as well. So we have been joined by Miss Sabine Nas. She's a freelance consultant and she's a writer too as well. But she's actually going to share about this initiative by Ideas, where a lot of children are actually studying for free. Please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sabine and I'm here as a representative of Bazija Trust. It's a foundation working for orphanages and underprivileged children, especially exclusively for girls.
For girls, right.
We have, mashallah, got 30 students
I think Miss Iram has been on the show too as well, and she's
But
the
Ms.
one.
Sabine, right, so I think I have a proper question for you for which we can probably direct the discussion to. So I remember talking to Auntie Rim as well, and I was sort of working for my community service with them, with the Bazisha Trust. So after the 2005 earthquake, a lot of girls were, you know, displaced, and they were then exploited and violated. So it was people like you who actually took them under a shelter, and then you've been working for them, educating them, providing them with vocational training so that they can at least be themselves in a society which is not very considerate of people who, you know, who don't have houses or families. So how's that coming along, and how do you feel? I mean, I can't ask what inspired you. I know it was the situation and everything, but what keeps you guys going?
It's our motivation and teamwork, and that's the spirit we have. Actually, Ideas Institute for Dyslexics Attitudinal Studies is our educational project for Bazija Trust, and this is how we generate income for the Bazija Trust, the orphanage children of the privileged orphanage children. And Iram Mumtaz is a specialist therapist, and she gives therapies to autistics and special children who are suffering from
People with
dyslexia.
special needs, yeah.
Yeah, special needs. So we are also catering education system, STEM. We are following STEM system, in which we have included Islamiyat as we are Muslims. So we have introduced Islamiyat as well. So we are already educating them, and we are
Providing them with shelter and food,
yes,
and clothing.
and
everything.
vocational studies who are not capable. Mashallah, one of our student has reached to college and she's in class second year, and others are also in class 9, 10, metric and all that. So
Okay, that's great. But unfortunately, that you've actually joined us in the later part of the show too as well. But now, thank you very much for sharing, and I think it's a great initiative to have actually looked after women in a country where it's male dominant too as well. So now I'm going to come down to a point where we wanted to discuss that, for example, ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when people used to say that, your kid should actually study bachelor's in business administration, or he should go for master's in business administration. And now we have produced so many bachelors and masters that it's hard for us to get a job too as well. And I think that the same is happening, not really same, but I think that it's going to happen in a few years that, there'll be more schools for underprivileged children and lesser underprivileged children too as well, and
Which is great.
that'll be a good news.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that other than education, free medication, we should actually have focuses upon, for example, our premier said that there'll be, panagahein for people who do not have shelter or a roof on their heads, and children who are on streets too as well. So I think that
Not
we have a
only
great,
children, but also
so I think we have a great direction. But what other things can we do to make the society a better one?
we are also
I'll start with Miss Amna, and then we'll come down to you.
Okay, recently we did a plantation campaign in the school. I got kids with little plants.
So plants are done
Yeah,
too
I
as
know.
well. Everybody's planting trees these days. A billion tree
I know.
tsunami is there too as well.
Like you said that we need to build an empathy within ourselves, and I have the kids, we keep on teaching them to have this with others too. Like if they can make a little positive change when they go home and they're a good citizen or anything, I think our job is done. So that's what I am trying to do is, and other things, education is and everything, planting tree, and everybody is doing that. I hope I'll start doing with that. Like you spoke about that we should have the shelter homes jobs and everything. Inshallah, maybe in the future.
Inshallah,
And
eventually, of course.
And for Sandhu Sahab, I have a different idea. So you can explain it to us that how can we actually do it. Now, for example, you know, there's this Malik Sahab, there's this Chaudhry Sahab, there's this Fulana Sahab, Fulana Sahab, Fulana Sahab. So put all of those people in one room, and I think all of them are going to be very uncomfortable because Chaudhry wants to be better than the Nasir Sahab or somebody else. How do you think, because I think within our society, even if we do not talk about it, I think these are the most major issues which we need to handle. People getting jealous of each other, people
Yes,
backbiting,
envious.
you know, people doing things which can probably harm somebody else's business, people judging people.
Yeah.
How do you think that we can get these morals back? Because I think there's a deficit of morals in people these days.
Yeah.
Thank you for this question. Actually, you know, as a human being, and let me tell you, you ask the most complicated questions to me. You know? Somehow, you know, I have to go and find the answer back in the 1400 years ago.
Please, sir.
You know, human being is, you know, is a name of three things: body, and then mind, and then spirit.
Yeah.
You know, we can feed our bodies. Animals also do feed their bodies, you know, but we have got a mind that is a stronger element of the creation, and then we have even a stronger part of us, that is the spirit. This spirituality, when you bring in the spirituality in your life, your morals tend to come into your mind. You become more ethical, and we've discussed it before, you know. And you know, the real ghaza or the food for spirituality is the book, our book, Quran, and the Sunnah of our Prophet.
Right.
You know, there's a ayah of Quran, Muhammadur Rasulullah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Muhammadur Rasulullah, walladina ma'ahu ashidda'u 'alal kuffar wa ruhama'a bainahum. You know, the meaning is that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who are with him, are very compassionate to each other. Now, what does this word compassionate mean? It means that, you know, you have to be at peace with each other, at mercy with each other. You know, once there's a incidence, and you would be you know, surprised to know that two Sahaba, two of the companions of the Prophet, were walking together, and they just talked about a person in a, you know, in a satirish way. Prophet said, it's just like eating the blood, you know, the flesh of your dead brother. So, you know, this kind of a training needs to be put into every household. How can we do that? We can do media campaigns nowadays. Now, how to do? We've got a social media, you know, availability that was not available a few years ago. We can become more vocal on the social media on these topics. That, you know, backbiting is not a good thing. You know, in Islam, hasad, you know, envy is not very much promoted. But, you know, what you can do is, how can you replace this envy with a positive attitude? You know, you can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, you give my brother this thing, you also give me that thing. So, you know, this kind of small changes would take you from the negative side to the positive side.
Which reminds me of, you know, where once there was this war and, you know, donations were required, and it was a competition in between Hazrat Usman Ghani Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. And one of them actually brought everything he had in his house, and everybody wanted to shine in the eyes of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and one of them brought in half of it. So Prophet changed the question. So I think if we are to compete in such a way where who's doing better for other people is the right competition to feel envy about too as well, or probably feel jealous that, you know, I wasn't able to provide this much. But very quickly moving on to Sabine Saiba over here, because she wanted to say something. Please go ahead.
No, I was at that time I was saying that regarding that shelter home. Yes, we are providing shelters to old age personnel also.
Okay.
So, and that's what I was trying to say, that we are contributing towards the society
But now, Ms.
in
Sabine,
different aspects.
I want you to share with us that what other ideas can bring about positive change with the actions of an individual. For example, you yourself, Kachnar Park is one example. You know, it's a very simple example, you know, looking after a park. So what other ideas of such sort comes to your hair? Please share it with us.
Small or big?
Yeah.
According to me, I believe in reading. Reading is the most important factor in our society, which can, you know, turn the things one with the wand, just a wand, just with the help of a, without using a wand. If you start reading, it's not literate. I'm not talking about literacy rate, increasing literacy. It will increase the literacy rate, but yes, reading is the, if no matter you are reading even on your mobile, anything, any literature, akhbar, any reading material, any, even you are reading some ads on the walls, even then you are, you know, increasing your knowledge and developing your mind and creating something positive in your mind. So reading is the best option. We can adapt and we can, you know, change the world. And because in Pakistan we are facing the major problems due to literacy issues, and that's the main issue. We have the most we are the largest youth. We have the largest youth population in Pakistan, but they are not trained. They are not provided with the skill training that they can be an effective citizen of Pakistan.
I think that's once again a question for you guys, because you know you are the mothers. You know, I still have to be a father or play that role, but I think it once again comes down to a generation 2 decades before us.
Yeah,
But
but
we'll come down to that.
Yeah, but very quickly,
I would like to add something
Right.
to my elder sister's, you know, idea.
I like the elder sister.
Yeah,
part.
she's my elder sister. And you know,
My pleasure. My
okay.
pleasure.
So you know, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, once a person came to him, you know, he was also the companion of the Prophet Radiallahu Ta'ala anhum, all of them. You know, he wanted some help. Prophet did buy him an axe.
Okay.
He enabled him with and told him, go to the woods, get some, you know, wood from there and sell it in the market. So you know, this is a small idea, but you know, when you start developing skills, you are in actuality providing homes for people.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, so you know, the best thing we can do as of now is there's so many skills that people can learn, especially in this age where technology has gone so forward. Even, you know, small things we can teach.
So that their development in life is sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps on going.
It's always better to provide a skill and a tool
Yeah.
to a person who is out there and who like what we can do is we become a little sensitive. We see beggars all around. It would be a difficult job, but try to bring them back into the society.
So the nutshell is that do not give a hungry person a fish to eat. In fact, teach him how to fish himself.
Right,
I think that's what you're trying to say, and I think this is what's going to make our lives easier too as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Just one thing before we close the show. You know, we always hear that charity begins at home. So whenever, I think all of us are a part of this thing, that whenever we need to give out anything, sadqa or probably whatever we have to give to someone, we look for families who are not related to us. But in every family, not all members are equal, right? In our extended families as well, there are some family members or even small houses that need a lot of attention or probably a lot of help. So start with that. Also start with your neighbors. I personally, it's a bad thing I know, but I personally do not know who even my next door neighbors are. Not at
because
home.
she's living in a hostel these days.
Yeah,
that's why
not at home,
probably.
also not at my hostel, which is bad. I know it's bad. But my mama always does this. Whoever comes new in the lane or wherever, she, you know, takes food to them and she befriends them and everything, which is a great thing. So I think charity begins at home, and also you should be, you know, good with the people that you know already or who are a part of your life before moving on outwards.
Exactly. And thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to have you. Very quickly, very quickly.
As we are talking about charity, so I would like to suggest that yes, a book can be a very good source of charity.
Yeah.
Please donate as much book as you can to others,
Yeah.
because this is the best charity we can give. Or
And-
to
and-
teach a child is
yes.
also a very good
and
charity.
that is definitely expected from somebody who's an article writer herself too as well. So ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, we just pray that you guys stay happy, and please make sure that everybody who's with you or around you stays happy too as well. Please do
Yes.
write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well this morning,
on Twitter,
well this morning without a G.
on Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well this morning, well this
and
morning.
the fabulous repeat is going to be at
5 past 11 in the night.
till the next time. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.